Hello everybody, so it's me again, Zandro. We're here at the house, in the kitchen, obviously. And today we'll be making the chicken fettuccine that I was talking about. So today's ingredients, of course, we're gonna have chicken breast. This is 95% lean chicken breast from your grocery store. Seasonings, we have salt, pepper, some dried parsley, cumin, this herb blend. It has lemon, sage, and mint, I believe it looks like. Some fat-free heavy cream, mushrooms, your spinach, mozzarella, and broccoli. Alright, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get our vegetables prepped, because I like to do that first. I'm gonna wash my hands. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is, I actually forgot, we're gonna use an onion also as well. So first thing first, clean up my onion. And I'll use that cat paw technique so you don't cut your fingers. So the way I'm gonna be cutting these onions are, they're called julienne. Julienne cuts are cuts from the side. I'll be showing you here in a moment. Go ahead, clean that stuff out. So right here, julienne cuts is, I'm just going to be cutting the onions like this, so they look like that. This is called a julienne cut, so when I cook them, they're going to break apart. They're going to be like that. You want them not too small, good thickness, roughly like that. Alright, so there's my onions. I'm going to put the onions right there to the side. I'll move there so you guys can see me cut. Next, my broccoli. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut them up into segments. Clean out the little stems. Unless if you like them. I mean, they're not poisonous or anything. You can eat them if you want, but yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them. Good thickness. And once I reach to the brain part, I like to call it the brain part, I cut them this way, right there. So from the stem, I cut them bias cuts. Bias cuts are sideways, and then once I reach the brain, I cut them horizontal. It can get a little messy, as you can see here, all the little debris and everything. Woo! That onion's getting to my eyes right now. I usually, like I said in the last video, you can chill your onions so it doesn't emit those, I guess, that odor that makes you cry when you cut them. Next, some mushrooms. I'm probably gonna use maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 mushrooms. So some people like to cut their mushrooms this way with the stem, but for me, I like to chop the stems off. I'm gonna still use them. You can use them, and then cut them sideways, like this. So good. Yeah. Be careful not to cut yourself when you're doing all this stuff. There you go. And not last, I did forget to mention, we are gonna be using garlic. 2 cloves. So these good size 2 cloves. So you want to cut the ends off like so the skin can come off. Now you see some people, like in the shows, you see them crush it with a knife. I mean, I do that too, but for safety reasons you don't want to do that, only because you might cut yourself. Unless if you're comfortable that way, you can use your palm and just crush it with your palm with all the body weight. Right there, I'm using my palm, crushing it, and you should crush it and the skin should come right off. There you go. And now I'm just gonna roughly chop this guy. Alright, go ahead and clean up a little bit. So this is what I have here as my vegetables. My onions, broccoli, mushrooms, and garlic. Now we're gonna go ahead, get ready to season the chicken. I'm just gonna put them over here. So with the chicken, I'm just gonna do a normal salt and pepper, nothing too fancy. So give it a good amount of salt and pepper. Alright, so there we have it. Everything is ready and prepped, and now we're gonna get ready to cook. So I want to show you guys real quick. I have some water boiling for the pasta, and I have my pan here with vegetable oil for the chicken on medium heat. So what I did, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down to medium, let it simmer for a little bit, and I throw the pasta in. What I did is I added my herb blend, and what I like to do is I like to season my water because pasta, the raw pasta we have, will have no flavoring. So the more flavorful your water is, the more tasty your pasta will come out to be. So I just threw in some of the Pinch Perfect blend, which contain like the mint, the peppers, basil, sage, and some salt. And over here is my pan for my chicken. So I'm gonna go ahead and let my chicken cook. So these are actually thin cuts. Actually, it was one big chicken breast, so I actually cut them in half. I'm gonna go let that cook each side roughly maybe 2 minutes or so. I brought out the chicken and let it come up to room temperature so it cooks faster. So it's on medium heat, and I'm going to be cooking this on two sides, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my pasta in. So I threw my pasta in. I kind of broke them in half only because so it did fit inside the pan. So I'm going to go ahead and constantly not stir it, but I'm just going to break them apart, let them cook, because I don't want them sticking together as they cook. So when the raging water like this will usually move it around for me. But you want to keep an eye on it because sometimes the water would overboil. So what I have it is like a medium-high heat. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and let that cook. When this is cooked, I am going to cool it off in a strainer. So it will stop the cooking process. And I'll show it to you when the time comes. For now, I also want to mention, when you're cooking your chicken, if you're not too sure, normally I say 2 minutes or so. But if you're not too sure, you can actually see the lines right here. See how it comes out halfway? That means all that white stuff right there is letting you know that it's cooked all the way up to that line. So I'll give it like maybe another like 40 seconds or so, then I'm going to go ahead and flip it. You want to be careful is you don't want to cook it too long because you don't want to dry out your chicken. It's same thing as pork. Chicken breast usually gives me problems when I cook it, but I usually cook it and then let it rest so the juices can cook itself on the inside so it becomes nice and juicy. So I'm just casually stirring my pasta so they don't stick together. But usually store-bought pasta, like the ones you get in the box, they usually take a while to cook. I want to say roughly maybe like 8-10 minutes max on heat, maybe less, really depends what you got. The one I'm using to get is fettuccine because we're making chicken fettuccine. And you can see here my chicken, see how it's like almost fully cooked all the way. So I'm just going to go ahead, both sides have been cooked, got that nice brown. I'm just going to go ahead and cook it for maybe 30 more seconds. Then I'm going to go ahead and take it out, and I'm going to let it rest in this plate right here. Alright, so I went ahead and tasted it. My pasta is now cooked. You can see, I don't know if you can see too well, but I went ahead and tasted it. You don't want it to be too soft, otherwise if it's too soft, you know it's overcooked. So in order to prevent that from overcooking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot pan, I'm going to go to my sink right here, excuse the heat, I'm just going to go ahead, put it in the strainer just like that, put this aside for now, and I'm going to run some cold water on it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm slowing the cleaning process so it'll still have that nice crisp, crisp, but it'll be like al dente, how the French would say it. It will have a nice texture to it, and it's not going to be like soft and mushy. I'm going to come over here, medium low. I'm going to grab my onions and go ahead, throw that in there, let that cook. So I'm going to use a spoon right here. I'm going to go ahead and get that fully coated. And then next I'll be throwing in my broccoli, my mushroom, and my garlic. So what I'm preparing right now is I am making the mozzarella sauce. So it's gonna have the onions, the garlic, and the mushroom. Onions, garlic, mushroom, broccoli, and I'm gonna be using the fat-free half and half cream. Okay, so I went ahead and cooked everything. The onions, broccoli, mushrooms, and the garlic are all set in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that cook a little more. And what I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna go ahead and grab my chicken. I had to let it rest so you can see all the juices are right there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut them into good sized strips. Oh my god, how did I do that? Look, my chicken just pretty much cut itself. Just kidding, no. So over here, my food's cooking. I'm gonna go ahead, with this, I am gonna add roughly maybe 2.5 cups, maybe 3 cups of the fat-free half and half to make my sauce. So I added roughly 3 cups, 3.5 cups, like this, and I still have it going on medium heat. I want to bring the cream up to cook like hot enough so it can melt the cheese. So I have cheese right here. This is about 1.5 cup of cheese, mozzarella. I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate that inside my sauce to give it a little more thickness and more flavor, because you know it's all about flavor, baby. So yeah, just right here I think it's hot enough to start adding the cheese, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it slowly in. So I'm just gonna grab a couple handfuls, not handfuls, but a couple big large pinchfuls. So when I say pinchfuls, like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna slowly stir it. So because I don't want the cheese to burn at the bottom, I'm just gonna slowly do this. Alright, so I went in and stir it a little more, let it cook a little more, and you see how it has this nice coat. That's how you know is your sauce is nice and good to go and ready. So I just went ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and I can't talk. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off. And you know, you can give your sauce a taste, and if you don't like it, you can always add your seasoning. So yeah, so you know, actually I actually did not use the cumin. What the cumin would do would give it a nice nutty flavor, but I decided not to use it only because I had like the mushrooms and everything else give it the flavor. So if you think it needs more salt, or you want more salt, you can go ahead, and you can definitely go ahead and add that. Even when the sauce is done, it's still gonna enhance the flavor. And at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my chicken. Chicken fettuccine. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and garnish it with the dry parsley. So there you go. Here is my chicken fettuccine. You guys should go ahead and try it yourself. So here I'm now, guys, eating the food I just finished cooking. And you know what? Funny thing is, I totally forgot about the spinach. I mean, you could add it. Spinach cooks really fast. If you did want to add the spinach, I would recommend adding it at the very end where everything is finished and polished. So I hope you guys liked the video. I do encourage you to go ahead and try out this recipe yourself. You can make modifications. If you don't like broccoli, you can also substitute with other vegetables. Excuse me. And instead of mozzarella, you can use Parmesan cheese, Jack cheddar, whatever cheese you want. I mean, really experiment on it. So yeah, so this is my carb overload for today. So I use the fat-free. So what I did is use the vegetable oil, fat-free dairy cream, and a lot of vegetables. So all right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be trying to be making cooking video logs maybe twice a week or so. I am gonna incorporate them as healthy as possible. So for those who want to try and eat healthier or have a hard time cooking or don't know what to eat, these are the things that I eat. You can also check out my Instagram. It's going to be in the link below. I put out some nice pictures of the food I eat. I also do meal prep, and you can actually see my transformations from over the months. Alright, so leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys soon. Aloha.